Welcome back. You're watching Newscentre. Now let's shift focus to the high-stakes political battle in Bihar. The state's longest-serving Chief Minister Nitish Kumar is seeking another term amidst anti-incumbency and speculation over his health. Meanwhile, Rashtriya Janata Dal and Congress-led Grand Alliance is looking to make a comeback with Tejasvi Yadav leading the charge. The new wildcard Jan Swaraj party, founded by Prashant Kishor, is eyeing inroads of its own. The people of Bihar have cast their votes and we will know the verdict on Friday. Unemployment remains a key concern in Bihar, and both alliances try to tap into this segment during their campaigns. RJD's Tejasvi Yadav pledged a government job for every household, while the NDA has promised 1 crore jobs. Their campaigns also focused on other extensive welfare schemes, including free electricity and financial support for women. The special intensive revision of voters' lists emerged as a major flashpoint, with opposition parties accusing the Election Commission and the ruling NDA of vote theft. Bihar has witnessed a strong voter turnout this time around, but will it opt for double-engine model once again, or will the opposition wrest control? To help us understand and to answer some of these questions, joining us now to discuss this is Sandeep Shastri, political analyst and vice president at the Nitish University, and Ninad Sheth, senior journalist. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, being a part of this conversation. First, Dr. Shastri, let me come to you. One of the key features of the polling that we've seen in phase 1 and phase 2 has been the high voter turnout. How do we look at the numbers of people that are stacking up at the polling booths eager to cast their vote?
Ashmit ji, there is no empirical data to suggest that a high voter turnout either supports the incumbent or the challenger. I think there are examples of both. But I think what higher voter turnout in the two phases indicates to me is the abiding faith that the citizens of Bihar have in the democratic process, the enthusiasm with which they have come forward to vote in the democratic process. I would also add quickly 2 points. I think what is crucial in this high voter turnout is 2 factors, what I call the new MY factor. Earlier, people used to talk of the Muslim Yadav MY, but I think there is a new MY, which is Mahila and Yuvak. How is the woman vote turning out? Last time women voted much more than men? Is the same trend going to continue? And if that happens, I think it would be very much an advantage to the NDA. The other factor is the youth vote. Bihar is the state where 1 out of every 4 voters is in the age group of 18 to 30, the highest anywhere in the country. And the youth have serious concerns relating to employment within the state. They have concerns with regard to the quality of education and skills that are imparted to young people in the state. Now, how does that impact the way they vote, I think is going to be crucial. So I would look out for these 2 factors, the way women vote and the way youth vote, and both factors cut across the caste question also.
That's a very interesting perspective. Mr. Sheth, let me take that up with you. When you look at the elections, the Bihar elections, what, to your mind, is the biggest swing demographic? Is it the MY formula that Dr. Shastri is proposing, which is Mahila and youth? Or will you be, or is your assessment indicating that perhaps the traditional caste-based voting that we've seen is something that will prevail across phase 2 of polling?
I think that, across both phases, there is going to be history repeating with, however, 2 or 3 subtle changes. The first is, I think this election will be remembered as the first step of the secularization of the Yadav vote. The younger Yadav vote is restive. The younger Yadav vote is not a pocket borough of anyone, and I think you're going to see that playing out in the coming results. The second very, very crucial thing that you will see playing out in my experience from what little travel I did in Bihar is that the women voter who has voted for the first time, and one of the reasons why there is a higher turnout is the women voter. They got a 10,000 rupee, in their accounts recently, just before the elections. But there are also other indications which have suggested in the previous elections that Narendra Modi has a connection with women voters, and I think that's going to help. The third thing which we have to bear in mind is that does Nitish Kumar get 50 plus seats? As I said, this is going to be a history repeating election in my opinion. They're coming back But the leverage of Nitish Kumar will depend on whether or not he delivers 50 plus seats. If he does not, his relevance after so many years of dominating the polity will go down. Finally, I would like to say a sad thing. We should bear in mind that Bihar, had it been an independent country, it would have the 13th largest population in the world. And yet it has only 10% of people, of the working age people who are wage earners in the organized sector, or barely 10%. And I do not see that changing whoever wins. So to me, their struggles continue, and there the real danger is democracy delivering in Bihar.
That's an interesting analogy there, Mr. Sheth. Dr. Shastri, let me get you back in on this conversation. This understanding that you and Mr. Sheth have proposed, that there will be a young vote, there will be a Mahila vote that will cut across caste lines. What I want to ask you is traditional seats, especially in regions like the Simanchal region, which the Mahagathbandhan looks upon as a safe bet, whether it's Kishanganj, Kathiawar, Purnia, these seats which again have seen high voter turnout. Are these seats no longer safe? If we are to assume that the youth will be voting on employment, on jobs, on governance?
Ashimji, my own reading of elections in India and also in Bihar shows me that the safe seat concept is today no longer relevant. No seat is safe, and every party, every leader is made to struggle and work the hardest to be able to retain their seats. So there may be a party, there may be an alliance which has an advantage in a region, but that advantage cannot lead to a complacency that we are going to win there. And this is clearly demonstrated in the way the two alliances stretched themselves to the limits to be able to reach out to the voters. And also, I would make the point, Ashimji, that in this election, Bihar voter clearly shows that they don't go by the promise, but they go by the performance. That parties may make a galore of promises, a range of issues they may put up before the voter, but at the end of the day, the voter goes by performance. Also, every election has seen unemployment, price rise, inflation being among the top 3 of the 5 issues that people say are plaguing or impacting their lives. But when they go into that polling booth and look at the EVM in front of them, I'm not too sure whether these 3 issues are in the forefront or at the background, whether a new set of emotional issues have come in to be able to define and decide how they are going to vote. And this has been a huge dilemma and paradox. You say that unemployment, price rise is a critical issue, but when you go and vote, another set of factors seem to have had an impact.
Let me bring in another new dynamic, and that new dynamic is by the name of Jan Swaraj Party. Prashant Kishor fighting these elections, saying that either pre-elections or post-results, I will not be conforming to any particular alliance. Mr. Sheth, let me come to you. What is your understanding of the impact that Prashant Kishor is likely to have? Will he be a kingmaker? He's himself saying that, look, I don't want to be a part of any alliance. But in the same breath, is he also likely to perhaps cut away at the vote of the NDA, of the ruling alliance?
There has been a romantic association with the non-political, non-party space. It started way back in the 80s when there was a project for Lokayan which studied it. We saw India's most successful startup in Aam Aadmi Party, and its failure and has shown in Delhi that people are skeptical about the non-party, non-allied alternative. I personally think that Prashant Kishor is only going to be a footnote in this election. He does not matter beyond the media rhetoric. I do not see Bihar as a place which is yet ready for such an offering, although he does, obviously cuts through the clutter and tries to appeal to the young. It's very, very, for example, very, very brave of him to say that he will remove prohibition the day he comes. These are very interesting, exciting ideas, but I think Bihar is not yet ready to that extent. And when I said that there will be a caste vote, I do not mean that the caste will become irrelevant. Only a 2% swing of, for example, the Yadav vote secularizing and voting as Hindu can change the election. So while caste may retain its identity, that little swing is what people are looking for. That is the difference which makes winners and losers in Bihar. And I think therefore that Prashant Kishor will just be a footnote.
Interesting footnote there that he'll only be a footnote as far as Bihar elections are concerned. Final questions. Dr. Shastri, let me come to you. I was doing some number crunching ahead of this discussion. Of the total number of seats that are going to polls across the elections, 243 seats, 32 of them were decided by a difference of less than 5,000. Given such close margins, Chirag Paswan himself has a total of 29. 32 seats were decided by less than 5,000 votes. Does that mean that a Prashant Kishor factor or an AIMIM factor could perhaps play the role of a swing vote in favor of either the Mahagathbandhan or the NDA?
I would agree with my co-panelists that Prashant Kishor may have caused a lot of excitement and may have had a lot of people coming to his rallies. I'm not too sure whether it converts itself into votes. I'm not sure whether it will impact on the EVM machine. I think the voter of Bihar wants a clear verdict, is clear about wanting a particular party or alliance to come to power. I think it will be a close race. There will be many seats which are fought very closely. And there may be a few seats influenced by the Swaraj Party or by the AIMIM. But then I think the larger number of seats are going to be decided and fought between the two alliances. And that's going to be the crucial issue in the polling today and last time.
Well, Bihar elections always attracts the attention of the broad nation as to the direction that the state is likely to take going forward from here. We'll, of course, know the results of the Bihar polls by Friday later this week. I'd like to thank both of our panelists for joining us and sharing their insights into the ongoing Bihar elections. But that's all the time that we have. It's a wrap on this edition of Newscentre. Thanks so much for watching. The news and updates will continue right here on CNBC-TV18.